They also need certification for firemen and they'll get it trained. The firemen do a brand new career academy.
Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen, November 9th, 2021, 6 p.m. In attendance tonight is myself, Mike Ergo, First Selectman, Bob Carlson, Selectman, Anita Kincaid, Selectwoman, Christine Diaz, Admin Finance for the town. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags behind us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get into agenda item number 3, I'd just like to make a motion for a couple things on the agenda. I'd like to put a motion together to swap agenda items 4 and 5. Just because I know Alexis has another meeting to go to. I want to make sure we don't tie her up too long. And then as well as add agenda item 9A, 298 Norwich Westerly Road update, and agenda 9B, speed hump and paving update. Is there a motion to add those, make those agenda changes?
So moved.
Bob makes it. Need a seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you guys. So number 3 on the agenda is citation, and really happy to do this tonight. And basically I have a citation for a really valuable member of the community this evening. And I'm going to go through this, and we also have a couple of really special guests here tonight. Representative Greg Howard is here, and Senator Heather Summers is also with us for this very reason. So the North Stonington Board of Selectmen would like to hereby recognize Dan Spring with this official commendation in recognition for your service of nearly a decade on the Board of Finance and work on the School Modernization Committee. Whereas when you began your tenure on the Board of Finance, the town had nearly no undesignated reserve fund. Whereas through your leadership as chairman of the Board of Finance, we've built a healthy undesignated fund balance over the past decade to 15.5% of our total budget, or $3.2 million. Whereas our old firehouse did not feature the most up-to-date technological needs and was a half century old, and whereas you were instrumental in helping the community understand the need for a new facility and how we could afford it. Whereas our school buildings were in need of serious repairs and upgrades, and through your leadership of the Board of Finance, you helped the community understand this need and how we could finance this initiative. Whereas you were a great support to the Board of Selectmen and the First Selectman through your time as board chairman. Whereby we have received strong audits and levied favorable financing to help keep the tax burden low and the quality of life high in North Stonington. We are indebted to your service and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And we know the Board of Finance is not a one-man show, but Dan, you certainly led them really well. And we have been very fortunate to have you over the last decade in this position of service. So I'd just like to thank you personally for it, and like to invite our representatives up if they wanted to say a couple words, that come to the microphone here if you'd like. Dan, if you want to come up, you can maybe stand next to him if you'd like. Certainly remove the mask if you'd like to.
I'm short. I have to push this down. So we are both here to recognize your 10 years of dedication to town of North Stonington. Some of the things that the First Selectman has highlighted are just amazing. A 15% fund balance is amazing as a former mayor. Congratulations. And I know I've seen you at all the openings for the new school, and you've really been sort of the steward of finances for the town, leaving at this time the town in a really very financially astute position. And I know from somebody who has volunteered for years and years, all the time away from your family and your grandchild, etc. And we can't thank you enough for that. We need more and more people to volunteer for their towns. And we wanted to make sure that you were recognized for that, and also to congratulate your wife. She no longer has to be part of the spousal support group that meets weekly for their spouses that are never home because they're volunteering for the town. So we do have a special citation that we were able to get today from the General Assembly, and Representative Howard can go ahead and read it.
Yeah, I just want to echo what the senator said. It's great to be a part of a district where members of the community are willing to step forward. We know it's sometimes thankless. Certainly, the Board of Finance is only so much money. You try to keep taxes low and delivers, and you've done an outstanding job. So be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Dan Spring in recognition of your extraordinary contributions and dedicated service as a Board of Finance Chair for the town of North Stonington. Your commitment to the town and its residents has been unfailing and will be greatly missed. We wish you much success in the future. The entire membership extends its very best wishes to this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success.
It's on.
Right, just a few words.
Is it on?
It was.
What's on?
Check. There it is. All right. Before everyone hits the doors, I just want to thank the town, certainly and my Board of Finance members, both past and present. They've been there and very diligent and committed to the effort. Yeah, things that really make a difference don't happen overnight, and it takes time and
Steady hand to move forward. I also would like to thank general government, Mike, your leadership. Town has done a lot of great things. Bob, incoming, we look for the same, and leader, all the things that you do for the town, which is countless. So, and again, I thank my family, had a lot of time away from the dinner table, but I think that as we do as much for our family, we'd like to do that an extension for our community. We've gotten a lot done. haven't we?
Yeah.
So I appreciate these citations. Right now, given to the town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. If that's what you came for, then you do not have to stay. Although we thank you for coming out, and thanks again, Dan. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Howard and Senator Summers, for coming out. We appreciate your time. Okay, I did switch agenda item number 4 with 5, so we could get a sustainable CT update before Alexis has to go on to her meeting, which is at 7 o'clock, just in case. So Alexis, if you want to come up, I do think that microphone was giving us some trouble. So yeah, maybe you want to use that microphone. Yeah. Maybe it's a speaker issue.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you.
So for the benefit of everyone who may not know, we've been involved in the Sustainable CT initiative over the last 3 years. and that Alexis has been actually chosen as the chair of the Sustainability Committee. Over the last few months, they've been hard at work, and Alexis is going to give us a little bit of an update on some of the happenings of that committee and some exciting things that are going on. So Alexis, thank you for taking a few minutes to join us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks, Mike. So just by way of introduction, again, I'm Alexis Khan. The Sustainability Committee, we held our first meeting on June 22nd of this past year. So it really coincided quite well with the launch of the Sustainable CT certification process, which runs basically through the summer, and the deadline is the end of August. So it was a good opportunity for us to kind of formulate some ideas and get some manpower behind the effort to get that certification process done, which the prior 2 years has been basically with the help of the town of North Stonington's government employees, as well as some volunteer efforts. But this is really putting together a group that really is, the organization behind the certification process. And just as a quick refresher, kind of the goal of this sustainability committee is to help direct efforts of the community of North Stonington towards the vision embraced by Sustainable CT, notably to be thriving, resilient, collaborative, and forward-thinking. So we really, tried to organize our efforts in terms of getting a lot of the action items required for our effort for certification of Sustainable CT. We were going for silver certification this year. We just learned that we were recertified at the bronze level. So this is the first, the third time in a row in which we're certified at the bronze level for the past 3 years. We received 300 points, which just for basis of comparison, there's 200 points which are required for the bronze certification and 400 points required for the silver certification. So essentially we're at the midway point. We made considerable progress in terms of that goal towards silver. Those points, everything that we submitted. I don't know. Oh,
Maybe the batteries or something. What? Why don't you just come up to this, sit up here. Do you mind? Because that way the public can hear you. If you don't have a mic, they can't hear you. Yes. Christine's always looking for company, so.
can you hear me now? Or is it? Okay. Those points, my understanding is that that will apply towards our next certification cycle. So it's kind of, you create a database of every action that you've done for a certain rolling period. So basically this is progress towards silver certification rather than having to start from scratch next year. And really the position that we're in currently is great from both, just kind of town sustainability efforts, but also from the standpoint of achieving our hopeful goal of silver certification next year, because we now have kind of this ability to regroup, see where we want to go in terms of different initiatives that we really want to focus our efforts on over the next several months. I mean, traditionally, this has been kind of a process of seeing what we've done and applying it towards the Sustainable CT certification process, whereas this time we have the chance to really be kind of forward thinking and get a lot done, so that when we get to the point of the certification process, we already have all this work that we've done over the prior year. So we're kind of regrouping now and really focusing our efforts on what the committee wants to prioritize and how we're going to get that done over the next year. Just kind of as a teaser for some of the ideas that have been underway so far, we have a strong focus on pollinator pathways and developing that program for the town of North Stonington. So the great thing about the Sustainable CT program is that it provides certain grant opportunities as well. There's a community match grant program. And so we have already applied for that for the pollinator pathways program, and basically are on our way to the spring cycle. We'll get a program in place that will get funding through the Sustainable CT program as well. So that's a great way to kind of utilize this program for directly putting dollars into our efforts for the Sustainability Committee. So pollinator pathways being one area. Also, we've been exploring an energy audit, how to kind of get, again, maybe through a grant process, but how to kind of get more of an opportunity for residents of North Stonington to avail themselves of energy audits through Eversource, maybe providing some subsidies if there's a cost associated with it. So we're currently investigating what that would entail. And also what's very exciting is that we have been selected or have the opportunity to be involved through Sustainable CT in the Sustainable States Community Energy Challenge. And so there were 3 different areas that we could get involved in. We chose the climate planning tier, and there's a climate planning technical assistance track, and we are getting access to some consultants through Great Plains Institute, which is collaborating with Sustainable CT on this initiative. So we just had yesterday our kind of kickoff first workshop with both members of Sustainable CT, our committee, members of the Board of Selectmen, and the Great Plains Institute, and to kind of discuss what we would want to focus on in areas that they can provide some assistance in this regard. So that's going to take place over the next, I think, many months, but we have the opportunity as Sustainable CT certification members having access to this resource. And so that will be a great initiative for our committee to work on as well. I think that's it. Any questions?
Does the board have any questions or anything, or just Mike?
No, I attended the seminar yesterday. Off track, just, you're gonna ask someone tonight about the award ceremony.
Yes.
Okay, and Nicole Porter, the new select woman, Nicole Porter, is attending that with you, in case you didn't know each other. And then just let Christine know on the 3rd name. And once we have that, we'll get you additional information on exact location and so on. So, and thank you for doing that, making time for that. And thank you for all you do with the Sustainable Committee.
Thank you. I also forgot to just very quickly mention that we also, as part of this committee, started a Sustainable North Stonington webpage. It's through the town of North Stonington's page, website, but so your IT resources were invaluable in helping us do this, but basically it's for helping town residents who want access to information about what we're doing as a committee, what the Sustainable CT program is, as well as kind of just resources for everything from invasive species to how to compost to, natural weed killers, just an array of different things to try to just provide resources and different information to the town.
One more question, Mike. Alexa, so you're meeting tonight at 7.
Yes.
Do you typically meet on Tuesdays, and are they always the same nights that the Board of Selectmen meet, or are they typically an off week?
So I think it tends to be, but we can always move it. We've been doing special meetings thus far. In 2022, we're getting on a regular schedule of monthly as regular scheduled meetings, and then we're going to do probably bi-monthly off, just kind of ad hoc special meetings. But if it's inconvenient, we can certainly change it. This time, the 7 p.m. time slot on Tuesdays was most convenient for the 5 members, but we could try to get it on an off schedule if that would work.
Well, the Board of Selectmen will be meeting on Tuesdays, but we meet the 2nd and 4th.
Okay.
So if you could still meet a Tuesday at 7, but maybe on the 1st or the 3rd.
Okay.
That way, if you can attend ours, we can attend yours. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alexis, thank you for that really great update. It's really exciting to see what's happening, all the hard work that the committee's doing, and congratulations on the bronze certification again. It's not a small deal to get certified. It takes a lot of effort, and I know you worked hard on it with the committee this year, especially, and the fellows at the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments were helpful as well. And I think the grant is really exciting. If you remember, we were able to work through Sustainable CT for the Pucker Road property that Avalonia was able to purchase, having one of those community grants. And it sounds like we're doing that again with the pollinator pathways. So it's cool to see the town kind of getting behind these initiatives, and yeah, it's great work. So
And the great thing about that, the community match grant program also is it has the dual benefit of sort of getting awareness from the community, because there's the community match portion of it is really about crowdfunding. So there's a level of advertising that any project needs to do amongst town residents just to kind of promote the project and get donations, basically. So that's another added benefit, is letting people know what's going on and how to get involved.
And when you go live with that match program and you need that out, I'm sure you can talk to Bob and he'll help facilitate communicating that out. So any other questions or? Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you. And thanks there were a lot of, I should have mentioned that there were a lot of different pieces that we pulled together from different members of the community, different committees. So I appreciate else's assistance who helped with the sustainable CT certification. So it was not just us.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's awesome. Cool. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, actually, which is now 5, which is public comments, which I had moved just because of Alexis having to have a meeting and our citation situation. So if there are any public comments, now would be the time to either raise your hand here in the audience or raise your virtual hand online. If not, that's okay too. And I'm not seeing a queue for any public comments, so that's fine. So we can move on from that to agenda item number 6, which is Everbridge marketing and policy. I know we had kind of talked about this the last couple meetings, and of course we're in the transition period here with our board. So I don't know that we have anything concrete. I know, Bob, you were talking about it, and then you had mentioned, probably take it up with the next board a little bit more.
Yeah, it'll be on one of our top things to get done fairly quickly. We've already discussed where and when we might be able to do some of these events to get people signed up. Some will be going to where people go, whether if there's a big event in town. We know we have the Christmas events coming up with the library and the tree lighting and so on. So we'll probably bring information to those events and try to get them signed up there. And also, I think we'll do things with the signboards around town and so on. But yeah, we've discussed it, and it's an initiative that we want to make sure we stay in touch with. As far as the policy part of it, as we spoke, Mike, I think his name is Kevin. I had tasked him to find for me a policy already written. He really couldn't come up with one for us. So at this point, I think the big thing would be to get people signed up. And once we get people signed up, the kind of numbers that we're looking for, if there's a policy needed, myself, Brett, and Nicole will get involved in that. So
I think it wouldn't hurt to have a paragraph that just basically says these are appropriate uses for the system. It doesn't have to be a long policy, even if it's just a paragraph saying, we're going to use this for road closures or parades or, getting people out to vote, and to specifically just state, obviously it's not for political purposes, or just so you don't run into a problem down the road. I think it'd be a good idea to put a paragraph together.
So I have a question. So who has the ability to use this?
The town. So
So
right now,
I
that's.
mean, the town
that's
in
it.
general, or, I mean,
Well,
certain-
like the first selectman and the admin finance and Jim has it, and we can designate other users too.
so if we have the first selectman and the admin finance director and the IT coordinator, if that's it, then everything has to funnel through them. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the paragraph, but yeah, it would probably make sense to do that. But again, if we don't have many people with access to it, it's going to get used in the right way, I would think.
You would think, but I mean, again, we can only speak for us who are the ones who happen to hold positions. I think policies are meant to provide a roadmap to those who may come later, and to make sure that there's some guardrails in place for something like that. So I would advocate for a policy of some kind.
Would you like Jim and I to work on a policy from an administrative side, and then we can present it to the next Board of Selectmen?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Christine, for that suggestion. Yeah, I think something simple. Okay, so if there's nothing else on that topic, we have a call for a town meeting. And we have we have only this one item, but it is a time sensitive item. So we are, I'm just going to read the call as it's written here. Warning is hereby given to the electors and those entitled to vote at town meetings of the town of North Stonington that a special town meeting shall be held at the following location on the date and time indicated for the purpose of transacting the business set forth below. Location, North Stonington Education Center, Media Center, 298 North Wesley Road, and via Zoom with a Zoom link provided. Webinar ID 812-4046-5762, November 22nd, 2021, so Monday at 7 p.m. So it'll be right here or on Zoom. For the purpose of registered voters, those wishing to attend the meeting online and vote online will need to pre-register through the link provided by noon on November 22nd. In-person attendance will be available following COVID-19 guidelines. Question 1, shall the town approve of an additional appropriation in the amount of $53,000 for replacement truck for public works as recommended by Board of Finance? All supporting documentation will be available on the town website, www.northstoningtonct.gov. It's just the one question. That is the call. Is there a motion to accept the call as read? Motion by Nita.
Second.
Is there further discussion on the call? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. The town meeting will be held on November 22nd.
That is only
For the truck, just the one item. Yeah, we didn't have anything else, but we want to get that approved if the town is so inclined to do so we can get that truck ordered. Number 8, John Dean Gallup House. We did talk about this at the last meeting and that there was a walkthrough scheduled. So I didn't know if you wanted to just tell us a little bit about how that went.
sure.
Just turn your microphone on if you could. Just push the button on the bottom there, Nita.
Bottom.
Yep.
You know how good I am.
Soon you won't have to think
There
about it
it
anymore.
is. Okay. All right. Well, we had the Bob, who's the one of the people, actually the real person that works for us, and has been doing stuff to make sure that everything is going to come through correctly.
That's the consultant that wrote the report for us.
It's a second round of a thing of what we need to do completely. The beginning was a high level.
Yep.
Now it's coming down to what are you going to do? How often are you going to do it? How are we going to get it all together? And we still have not, unfortunately, come to the, to the place where we can decide whether we are going to put people in there or whether we were going to do anything different. That's kind of, and so Bob has worked hard on the inside of the house and everything. He thinks everything is in very good condition. Again, he really does think the place should be kept very well. But we all know that it won't be kept very well if we don't have more understanding of how we're going to use it. But he's going to finish this and then we go next step.
Go ahead, Christine.
So just a reminder for everybody, this is the second grant through the State Historic Preservation Office. This is to create construction documents to be able to start doing some of the renovation work. This is the last piece that we need in order to move forward with the third grant, which would be a request for a matching grant to actually start doing some of the construction on the
Exactly.
house. So the board at SHPO said that they couldn't evaluate our third application until they actually got these physical documents. So Bob Gabalski from Lothrop is finishing everything up and we should have deliverables in a month.
Well, he didn't, when he was here and went through it with us, he wasn't quite sure yet. He was really looking at everything very closely because this might be our last chance to get, good money. And I think, and he had actually gotten, I don't know if you knew that he actually got COVID.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, and that was really slowed it down.
Yeah.
So, but I think he plans to have everything done before Christmas, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll see where we're at.
And again, this is a full 100% grant from the state. No money is being expended by the town for this report.
Right.
So Christine, how much money is on the line item above and beyond the grant money and how much is the grant for?
It's a $15,000 grant. We budgeted.
The grant itself is 15,000.
Yeah, that's what she said.
We budgeted 30,000 this year for the Hewitt Farm, so 15,000 of that would be the grant.
Right. Exactly.
So we have $30,000 right now to spend on the 1750
Well,
the Gallup House.
There's,
Technically, we probably already spent it by the time this part is done.
no, the report is 15,000.
Right.
The report is 15,000. So this grant is 15,000. So there's another 15,000 in that line for capital repair work on the building.
Thank you.
I think the goal is that we continue to fund that line because whatever monies we try to get through grants may require a match. So certainly we should have an eye on continuing to fund that line so we can keep that property in
Yes.
good repair.
The planning grants through the State Historic Preservation Office because of COVID did not require a match. The
Right.
construction grants do require
Yes.
a match from the town.
Nita, do you have an idea what kind of money we're looking at to get that building to the point where it's rentable?
To get it what?
So it can be rented out? Do you know how much more money do we need to spend to get it up to a point where we could advertise it to be lived in and rented?
Technically, in my mind, we could get somebody in there fairly soon. It's in very good shape. But I think one of the things that is a problem is we have not been able to determine what we want to do inside the house. Do we want to have it be somebody living in it? Or do we want it to be something else? And so this is part of the issue.
Could you set up a tour of the house for the new Board of Selectmen so I can have the other two?
Absolutely.
I've been through it many times, but the other two board members, in case they haven't seen it yet, so we can set that up for some time in the near future.
Certainly,
All right,
absolutely.
Thank you.
There has been some interest from a local arts group who is kind of up and coming, possibly, and maybe talking about some community use for the space. So there's maybe some percolation of,
Right, although I think, I know what you're talking about. And there's concern with the kinds of things they would want to do that might be not fitting for the inside of the building. And we might take away a lot from it.
I think the town's going to have
That's the
to
issue. We
come up
really
with some
don't-
compromise to do something with the building.
We
so,
really need to let Bob finish.
Yeah.
And then we need to maybe take right after the holidays, have people come in again and look at it
Yeah.
so that we can all think about it together.
Yeah, so once Bob finishes his work, not you,
When,
Bob.
when will Bob, when will he be finished with his work? Do you have any idea?
I think before Christmas.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
If he hadn't been sick, it should have been done before this.
So let's set up a walkthrough prior to that, though. Maybe we can see it, that way we can see it before and after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to be clear, there's no work actually, like his work is all paperwork. There's no actual
He's
more
going
work
over
doing.
everything. He's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even,
He's going to determine what other things we need to do construction wise to make the property what it needs to be from a historical asset
I don't know,
perspective.
Bob, if you ever got to see the pictures of all the things that this company has done. And that's what we're getting. We're getting really good information and making sure that we're not fooling around too much.
Oh,
Because
understood.
from the, it's very hard with Hartford to get good money.
Yeah.
So
Well, this was a big decision to do this and to get this historical.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a really good exercise. Nita, thank you for your work on it. I know you've kind of kept the ball moving on along with Juliet and Christine and
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, thank you for that.
And now Bob.
And now Bob's gonna toe the line. Just put it on the list, Bob.
They named the movie after that. What about Bob?
What about Bob? All right. Anything else on this topic?
No, Not
right.
now. I wish it would sooner, but not now.
Tax refunds, we have one, I think.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion. There's one tax refund in front of us. It's for Brian Rathburn for the total of $6.58. So I motion we approve that tax refund.
I said, yes, I agree with that.
Need a seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I added two agenda items, number A, letter A, 298 North Wesley Road update. I just wanted to give an update, simply to let you know that the Realtor is moving on. I did speak with them. We don't have a clear direction on what we're doing, and they have spent a considerable amount of time and resources and energy, and I do thank them for their work on trying to, they did do a good job. They had tenants for us, but I think because we weren't really clear maybe in the beginning and what we really wanted and what others wanted, that, it probably was fruitless. It was fruitless efforts. But they were very helpful, and I thank them for their efforts, and they have removed most of their signs, and they're going to get the ones on the road out soon. So I just wanted to give that update. Any questions?
No.
The second update was the speed hump and paving update. I just simply wanted to let you know, I did speak with the vendor that's supposed to do the speed humps today. He is anticipating doing this next Wednesday. He thinks he's going to be able to get started, although he has told us before that there was a date and it kind of got pushed. So it's possible it could get pushed, but he felt like that was it. It's only because they're on a paving job right now and they keep getting delayed on that one. So you know how it is in the contractor world. So that is supposed to start next Wednesday. And the second thing is the paving in Kingswood and what would be finishing Cedar Ridge is also supposed to start next Wednesday. So just coincidentally, both are supposed to start the same day.
Can
So
we go back for a minute, though? The first one that you're talking about, is it just for a small part of the town?
the speed humps,
Yeah.
I think it's 10 8 speed humps in the
one
village,
particular area,
in different areas of the village.
the whole village there.
Yeah,
The whole
downtown.
village.
Yeah,
Yes, but just the village.
just the village.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. There'll be 8 of them in different locations that have been determined already. So
okay.
Yeah.
Because I was asking that because we usually end up somehow going through the town on the days when it's very, very busy, and I wonder how it's going to be with that.
well, I think it's going to slow things down. That's the point. And, I do think that this,
I think she's talking about road closures more than.
are you talking about the roads being closed? Or are you talking about just the speed of people going through town or?
Yes, I'm concerned that the people who are there on the late afternoons and evenings are going to possibly be, discouraged about it, the whole thing.
I can pretty much guarantee you that many people will be discouraged about it and many people will be encouraged about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions on this topic,
I
but
know.
ultimately we made the decision and it's happening. So
Okay. No, I know, I
if-
was just curious as to where they were going to be.
yeah, they're in a number of different locations and we have the signage and so it's going to happen. I don't know if you want to bring up to the traffic commission, which I probably would do, is discussion of reducing the speed limit as well. And that might be something they want to talk about, bringing it down to a 15. I think that's in your core. I would usually bring issues like that to the traffic commission. They can discuss it and then make a recommendation, back to the selectmen. Any questions on either of those items? Okay, moving on. Selectmen's expenses. I have nothing to report. Unless there's any questions. Minutes.
So there's 2 sets of minutes we're going to review tonight. One is September 28, 2021, Town of North Stonington Board of Selectmen, 6 PM. And the minutes were originally sent, done by Mike, and then I updated those this past week and resent them into Christine. So I motion that we approve those minutes.
Second,
Bob, can you just indicate to me mainly where you made changes? Because honestly, I didn't really notice.
So, yeah, let me just see if I can find them. So in section 5.
Yep.
There was a line that was added. It's about 2/3 way down. It says Selectman Carlson added why a greater effort. Asked why a greater effort wasn't made to keep this part of the original process, budget process, although he believes the town needs a new truck. He suggested to circumventing the budget and then later asking for an appropriation was not a best practice. A motion was made by Selectman Carlson to send the additional appropriation request for $53,000 to the Board of Finance, which would then ultimately go to the town meeting. So basically, that was omitted the first time, as far as the discussions we had about the appropriation. Second place, I made a change was I think it was in the updates to the government volume, submit a money plan. Selectman Carlson spoke on his reasons not to approve the change in the vesting years. That was the only thing I added. Then I have, and then however, Selectman Carlson made a motion to approve the language in the second question, which excludes part-time employees from the plan. I think that was the only two places I changed things.
So the only thing since we're getting into this level of detail, on item number 5, where you had inserted Selectman Carlson added why a greater effort wasn't made to keep this as part of the budget process, I would add Selectman Ergo stated that it was included as part of the Board of Selectmen's budget, and the Board of Finance elected, I'm saying it out loud so we can go back to the recording. If I write it, I won't be able to read it anyway. And it was, so I would say something to the effect, if you're not in opposition, that, Selectman Ergo stated that this was included and emphasized as important as part of the Selectmen's budget. However, the Board of Finance elected to remove it in their budget cuts. Do you have a problem with that?
No, so I would motion we approve the minutes as amended.
Is there a second? Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep, I will. Thank you.
Okay, there's a second set of minutes from October 26th. Town of Stonington Board of Selectmen special meeting. I motion that we approve those minutes, and those were submitted by Christine.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any public comments on agenda items? Any public comments on agenda items? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Further discussion? I'd just like to say it's been an honor serving with both of you. It's been a lot of fun. Bob,
I
best
would-
of luck.
Thank you. I would also say that I can't believe how fast 4 years goes by. Seems like we were just out in the cold getting sworn in the first time. And it's a quick 4 years, and I wish nothing but the best for the two of you. And don't be strangers, and I have both your numbers, so I know how to get a hold of you. So I'll be looking for help, I'm sure.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.